Hi folks, this is Dana Bates with C&D Productions, here today with Mark Owen, managing broker for Century 21, exclusively out of Wenatchee, Washington. I'd like to give Mark a chance to explain to you a little bit about the property we're looking at here today, here on the north side of Pateros. Mark, what are we looking at here?
This is beautiful riverfront property here without the charge of being riverfront. You have a highway and a railroad track in between. So what you got here are views. This property can be used for recreation, or you can use it for residential, or if you're up to it, you could actually turn it into agricultural if you want. Or if you wanted to build a big shop, it's also zoned commercial.
All right, so we're basically talking about general zoning, which of course is one of the best assets here. What's the water situation here about these properties? What do they all have in common, Mark?
They all have in common because they're all fed by private wells, but they're shared wells for each lot. So there's one well for each plat, and each plat has 4 lots on it. And with the domestic wells, you are allowed to irrigate up to 1 acre per parcel.
Alrighty, and now exactly what river are we looking at here again?
This is the mighty Columbia River, and on both ends here, if you went north, you'd be the Methow River, or excuse me, the Okanagan River. And then if you went south, you'd be at the Methow River. So you have all kinds of fishing here in front of you or up and down. I mean, we're just a mile away for each mouth of each of the rivers.
Exactly. As we were driving here into town, I was asking Mark what rivers we're converging with, but here being a Wenatchee local, which Wenatchee is an hour from this area, which would be one of the, I would guess you could call it one of the largest city type hubs close to this area, where you can find shopping, theaters, all kinds of fun stuff to do. Macy's, of course, one of my favorite spots. Anything that you were looking for to do in a city, you can basically find out of Wenatchee. What are some of the other outlying cities and areas and things to do around this property on more of like, if somebody was looking to go shopping, for example, where are we at here?
Well, you've got all kinds of shopping within an hour each direction. Of course, you mentioned already Wenatchee. If you go south, it's 1 hour. Or you can go north, and you've got Omak, which has the biggest Walmart that they ever built in this area here. So there's all kinds of shopping up there. There's also all kinds of little lakes. So there's all kinds of camping. There's all kinds of fishing. And then you also got, if you went the other direction, went south and then went up the Methow Valley, you can take that all the way up and go across the Northwest Cascade highways. But one of the most popular stops is at the top, which is Winthrop, which is an old coal and mining town that has been converted into resorts and tourist activities.
Actually, yeah, and you know, it's amazing being from Wenatchee. You know, I never realized how beautiful these surrounding areas were until you actually get up into the mountains. Alta State Park. I mean, it's incredible the beauty once you actually ascend these areas for just a couple of miles. And this is just an amazing area that really has a lot of recreational value, but as you say, it's zoned for commercial, so you can do so much of it. What plot are we standing on here? How is this plat and parcel situation set up? How is the lot situation set up? Could you repeat that again about what is it we're looking at here?
Okay, we have 4 parcels here. We're at the very top of the very first parcel, which would be at the utmost north part of the entire development. So we have this parcel, and then you have a split, and you have 2 other parcels, and then there's one here that's south of us here. So this is the first section.
And here, as you can see, the first property that we're doing has an amazing view. Is that something that all of these properties have in common?
All of these properties have the views that you see here. Some of them are a little bit more wider. As we go further south, you'll notice that you'll see more orchard, more up the valley, and see more down the valley as well. It just depends on where you're positioned at.
And what was the original situation? Where did these properties come from, and what's going on with them as far as what has been done with these in the past?
This had been agricultural, most recently apples, for many years. And there's 2 generations that use this land. And as things have decreased as far as farming in the area, of course, values in land became more prevalent as far as recreation or as well as residential, and that's why they decided to pull the trees. And they're preparing for retirement, and their family is not as big as it used to be, so it's at a point where the family needs to sell it, and that's why they chose to develop it so they could share it with people. The nice thing about this area is we have over 300 days of sunshine a year. So no matter what time of the year, you're going to get some sunshine. If you're tired of the rain, come over from the other side and come into our sunshine. If you like the snow, guess what? The wintertime, we have all kinds of recreation here, skiing, cross-country skiing, you have downhill skiing, you have snowmobiling, you have all kinds of hunting, all kinds of recreation going on.
Yeah, pretty much being a Washington resident, I can attest to the fact that Washington is basically your ideal four-season state. And one little factoid, it is actually, for those of you that are not from Washington State, or even those that are, it actually is the only state that has all 5 weather patterns in the United States here. So we actually are pretty fortunate to have everything we have. And I would say if somebody was to buy into one of these properties, geez, they've just got everything at their hands reach here. We're going to go ahead and move on to another property. Thanks for joining us for our first parcel. Thank you.